All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Shane Costa with Real Modern People. This is a channel that's focused specifically on men, women, and relationship dynamics between the two. So today's topic is actually going to be about something that might be a bit taboo. It's actually a strong word that I'm about to use. It's called concubinage or concubines. And I'm going to be discussing how potentially a modern day concubinage is actually the same thing as polyamory. So I want to figure out what people's take are on that, if it's something that's offensive, and if it's something that's widely practiced, or if people are actually open to doing it. So without further ado, let's jump straight to it. My first question is, are men more territorial over their women, or are women more territorial over their men?
I think it really depends on the way that you grew up and the people around you. It could go both ways, though. Yeah.
I think it's both ways, too. I think it just depends the person and how their perspective is on how they want to treat other people or their partner in specific.
In my experience, has been more men towards their women.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's specifically my experience. Men have been more, let's say, territorial towards their women.
Do you believe it's biological?
I don't know. It might be like the men on my family, they really take care of their women.
I'd most definitely say men are more territorial over their women.
Why is that?
I can't really explain it. It's just kind of as a man, it's kind of wired into me. You know, like if I'm in a relationship with a woman, like I expect her to be exclusive to me and to follow the mutual rules we have for each other.
So if the man is confident, right, he's not gonna be all like territorial about his girl. He's gonna let her be free, and she's gonna know what to do and what not to do, because she's getting all that freedom because he's okay with it. That's how I think about it.
Would you say that it's okay to have boundaries in relationships?
Yeah, of course, you need boundaries. You need boundaries in everything. Even every state has their boundaries.
Like how he said, a very confident man would always have like his, keep his woman on check and on point, and she can do whatever she wants. Same thing. It's all about trust. And if you don't got that, the you got.
I don't know, because we're not like that. So I'd say both.
So, about equal? Yeah?
I'd say men more, but pretty equal. I don't. Right. Equally.
Well, but you said maybe men. Well, what's the slight edge there? Why do you think that is?
That's just because I'm a man and that's the way I think, which is not necessarily the right way to think. Yeah, not that it is, but it's just the way Greeks are raised, and it's just the way old school is, and not that we're any better or anything like that. It's just we're the what I'm used to.
So are you saying that this is more of a cultural thing and not really a biological thing?
I think it's very much a cultural thing.
Is it every man's fantasy to have as many women as he wants?
I don't think so.
I think it depends person.
What kind of person?
The man. Like, I think it depends, like, if he wants just one woman or if he wants many women. So there's both types of guys.
So in other words, you believe that some men are just like strictly monogamous while other men are just like, I want as many as I can get?
Yes.
Yeah, also.
Okay. There is a certain, like a trend or a higher likelihood for men to want to desire more women than for a woman to want to desire more men.
I know it kind of seems that way if you look at the data on, men are supposedly cheat, at least, well, I don't even know what the number is anymore, but
cheat more often than women do, but I also think it has something to do with power and more power that a person has, man or woman.
I have felt that way, but nowadays I think, like she says, it's more equal as far as both wanting.
You saying you want?
Extra female? No, but I mean, as far as them fantasizing more, I think maybe.
What do you think about women having multiple partners? Is that something that is much more accepted or tolerated than a man having multiple partners?
That's a good one. So people overall, I would say in this society, men and women, it's like acceptable to have multiple sexual partners. It's just whether you talk about it or not.
So is it every man's fantasy to have a consistent rotation of women?
If you're a boy,
Not every man is the same, okay? Because we're not all the same. Now, the ones that do want to have that experience, then all they need to have is a bisexual woman. That way we could rotate all the time.
Have any of you two ever had that fantasy?
I lived that family.
Is it every man's like fantasy to have a lot of women?
A maioria dos homens tem a fantasia de ter várias mulheres.
I don't think so.
Vamos falar do seu negócio lá?
My no,
Não?
no.
So if 100 women were thrown at your feet, like they're just like, oh, would you take them?
Se você não tivesse comigo, if he's not.
Yeah,
Right. Single.
yeah, yeah.
See? He said no.
Okay. So let me flip it to you. So if 100 men threw themselves at your feet, would you take them?
No. Not like, because for the guys, it's like at the same time, you know, like they would take as many women as they could at the same time. But with me, no.
No, I don't mean like having like a 100 sum. I mean like if there were 100 men that were available, would you take them and have like a rotation, for example?
Maybe.
Think about the benefits to you. You have 100 men that can take care of you in 100 different ways.
Yeah, maybe.
So do you believe that people are naturally monogamous, or they're like they want other people all the time if they can?
Sometimes I think monogamy is something like that society puts, you know, like you have to have someone, you have to get married, you have to have your family.
Biological perspective, genetic perspective, right? It makes more sense for a man you can literally have 365 children in a year if you wanted to, right? A woman cannot. She can only have one child in 1 year. So my point to you is it more acceptable, do you think, for men, that double standard, because that's kind of already what we're built to do?
I wouldn't say it's acceptable to do that often. I mean, if you want to have like 10 kids a year or whatever, cool. Do we have the capability of having way more than 1 or 10 kids a year? Yes. Should we? I don't think so. Just because of like diseases and things like that. And on top of that, me personally, I'm not one to, you know, have like 10 partners or something. Maybe like 2 or 3, cool, but that many,
So if women were throwing themselves at your feet, you were an extremely high value person, super handsome, you've got everything in the world going for you. If women were throwing themselves at your feet, you're saying that you would want to be strictly monogamous?
Yeah, I would prefer that than having more than one, yeah.
12 seconds later.
And is that because, like you're saying, it's because of STDs, or is there another larger reason because of that?
No, I'd just rather be in a relationship that's committed to one another than go around and have to worry about like the details of these, you know, however many women and all that, and then, you know, specifically like do little things here and there for all of them. I'd rather just deal with one.
So you mean to tell me that it's because it's too much work for you? But if it wasn't too much work for you, then you'd be okay with it?
I suppose so.
Let's keep it a buck. You would, right?
100%.
2 seconds later.
If your wife told you it's okay, you can have a concubine, would you be okay with that?
I'd be okay with it, but I wouldn't do it.
So you wouldn't want to do it?
No.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
It also crosses the minds of women, like they have this fantasy too, that I want more than one man at some point in their lives?
Some women are like that.
Minority?
Minority.
Minority, no, just it's equal.
You grow up in a society where mainstream media makes you believe having multiple women is the shit. And you want to have AKA and and shit like that. And because of that, mainstream people think it's a popular belief, because back in the day, women would watch their husbands go to legit England and Japan and go to war, come back and be 100% faithful. Now you can't go to a college down the street.
You can't even leave the country for 30 days, bro. You leave the country for 30 days and she's gone with the next.
I feel like it would be pretty equal. Yeah.
Okay.
I differ. I actually find men who are more surrounded by women unattractive. I tend to go for men, now that I'm at this point in my life, I tend to go for the men that are more like quiet and reserved and are just like focused on their life.
Me, I don't know if that's something as ego, but if a person is showing interest on you and he has options, it's like, it's intriguing for me. It's really intriguing.
If women had the opportunity to have access to more men, would they capitalize on that?
Why wouldn't they?
Aren't they already?
They can, they do, but you know.
So if you're in a relationship with a woman, right, and you take her really seriously, and she says, I also, and you say, I want other partners or whatever, like you disclose it from the beginning. And if she says, well, I want to do that too, what's your response?
Ooh, me personally, I would hate that. I couldn't do that. I know it's like super, what is it, hypocritical and whatnot, but I can't help but feeling that way. But at the same time, you're kind of bound by the rules you made, you know, so it's only fair in a world that is supposed to have men and women on an equal plane. It's only fair that if you can do that, she can. So at that point, I think you'd have to have the talk of, hey, I'm no longer going to do this because I don't want you to do this, or you're just going to have to bite your tongue and let it happen.
So my assumption on this is that this is actually, again, a biological understanding that men have, because when they have a woman who then allows herself to be taken by other men, that man, that husband, for example, cannot ensure that if she gets pregnant, that it's his child. So that's a huge issue. But we know for a fact that if you impregnate other women, that your wife has absolutely nothing to do with it. So do you believe that's why it's maybe more acceptable for only you to have multiple women while she doesn't have multiple men?
Yes, I would say so.
And you still think that that's hypocritical, even though there's an evolutionary reason why it makes more sense for you to have more women?
I think it's hypocritical in today's society. Do I think it's hypocritical, like overall, like at the base of what it is? No.
Men marry who they want and who they can, and women who they want and marry who they can.
Okay. All right. Pretty interesting day. As we come to a close with this video, we had some pretty interesting responses, but we want to go out eventually, get some more content, whether it's specifically about like mistresses and concubines and polyamory, or just a completely separate topic. We'll be out here all throughout Southern California. This concludes the video for today. Thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. Please go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and for sure, turn on the bell notification so that you stay updated with all the videos and all the content that Real Modern People will be doing.